Hi, it's Dave from Driving Venture. Welcome back to the channel. If you haven't done so already, please think about subscribing and get that notification bell on. Today, it's no surprise, it's right behind me. We are reviewing the 911R. Well, welcome to the 911R. What an introduction. I mean, this thing is just joy in your hands. (9,000 RPM, pure pleasure. Now, when the 911R came along in 2016, the Geneva Motor Show, we all knew it was only ever going to go to collectors. So few come for sale, and so it's a great pleasure and privilege to be able to drive such a raw and engaging and exciting car today for you on Driving Venture. I think it's fair to say the purists were extremely disappointed when Porsche dropped the manual gearbox in a GT3 in 2013. And then the GT3 RS came along the following year. And everyone was wondering, what's happened to the manual? What's happened to the manual? But of course, as Porsche always tends to do, it brings along a very, very special car. They've had plans to develop and bring forward for a few years, and it was the 911R. And so all that demand and desire for the manual gearbox, that pent-up demand that was there, that then came back when this car hit the Geneva Motor Show stands. It was just, there was so much pressure and demand for the car, and excitement for the car, that everyone wanted one. And of course, very early on, it was a little bit of a shame, I guess, to see cars change hands north of £500,000. Now, they're not exchanging hands at that price point now, but at £136,000, give or take, for a base spec car. What an unbelievable price tag for such a capable and consummate driver's car. It's just hard to believe it, really. The manual gearbox, this GT6, derived from the GT3 RS engine, but with a manual flavour, of course. An extremely snappy, short, stubby affair. I've said it before, but it's just a joy to go through it. The springs, the weighting, the feel, it's planted. And having not driven a manual car on the channel for quite a while now, my anticipation's building for the Spider to be able to drive this car today. It's blowing me away. Oh. Now, there were a number of special options which you had to have with this car, I think, when you were buying one. And one of those things was the single mass flywheel. What that does to the car when it's ticking over is it does sound a little bit like a cement mixer. Or there's perhaps nails in the engine. A very raw tick over. So it was designed to bring back to Porsche ownership, the Porsche purist customer, what he'd been longing for and thought he'd lost back in 2013. The manual gearbox, 500 horsepower engine, 470 newton meters of torque. This steps it up above a GT3, and it had RS dynamics and performance, but in a car which is just that classic 911 shape. Now, the 911R paying homage to the 1967R. So this car's got a lot of pedigree. It's got a lot of history, and that's what you get with all Porsche cars. You're getting into something. It's history all over the place. You've got the houndstooth stitch in the seats, the leather trimmed steering wheel. It's just got everything, this car. And you do really feel when you get in it and you get in this 918 bucket seat, you feel like you're getting into history. You feel like you're getting into something which very few people will get into, let's be honest, and drive and enjoy and own. Now, this car is spec'd really, really well. It doesn't have the chrono clock in the dash, and I'll be honest, I think it suits the car not having it. This isn't a car about going on track for me. This is a car which has been designed with its subtly different suspension to be a car that's for the open road. It's for the A roads. It's for the B roads. And it will put an enormous grin on your face when you drive it. It's just incredible and raw. So the 911R, 991 examples of this 991 generation GT car. It was the car that came along at the 2016 Geneva Motor Show, the car that brought relief to the purists, even though the majority of purists would never actually ever be able to buy one. These were all for collectors. They were sold out well and truly before they hit the showrooms, and went straight really into collectors' collections. And it's good to see this car has actually been used, and this car's covered just over 7,000 miles, and the second owner now is going to be enjoying this car for a few more miles too. So let's check out what I like about the spec on this car. The unique thing about the 911R is the livery, which was obviously standard but could be deleted. Very few cars deleted it. This has got a fab red livery, and it comes on the bonnet, these two wide red stripes, and the really cool thing about it is it swoops off of the bonnet, which is carbon fibre. We'll get to that. Then you've got these two stripes over the top of the roof, magnesium, dipping it like the RS, and then you have these two red stripes at the back. So when you see the car coming up behind you, or you come up behind the car, you're on the road, it's very, very distinctive, and I absolutely love the stripes. The other thing which is unique to the 911R was the Porsche logo down the side, which is a little bit dirty after our drive here today up to Honister. And when I saw this on the 911R, it was one of the reasons I went for the script on the Spider. I had that put on my yellow, racing yellow Boxster Spider. You could have the car in three colours, standard. You had the Carrera white, you had the black, or you could have had GT silver. Those were the three colours. There were a very, very few paint to sample allocations globally. And the wheel colour, you could have this lovely silver look, you could have the platinum look, or you could have a gloss black, not a satin black. And standard on the 911R with the incredible PCCB, which when warm offer tremendous stopping power. And this car was all about weight. You know, it's 50 kilograms lighter than a GT3 RS. It's got the GT3 RS Gen 1 engine in there, so it's 500 horsepower. Also unique to the 911R, we talked about the red livery at the top, but you get this very special 911R logo on the back on the grille here, and you know, 911 in white, and that R in a different contrasting colour. Porsche script on the back. This has just had a Sharkworks exhaust fitted on it, so it sounds really good too. It's not at IPE level, but it's, you know, it's still extremely fruity, and the rev matching up and down, it's just a joy. So let's check out the interior cabin of the car. Okay, well, the first thing you notice when you open the door, you're about to step in this machine, is the 911R detailing, which is illuminated here on the door sill. If they can save weight with this car, that's what they've done. Now, the rear windows in this vehicle, they are polycarbonate, so they are lighter than the standard glass you would expect. Again, that's saving weight. No rear seats, no roll cage, so you know, this is a car where you've got more capacity and it's easier to get that capacity because you've not got the roll cage which gets in the way. Also, 918 bucket seat, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, this houndstooth detailing, it's very, very special. And then you've got your 911R on the headrest. I love the black dials, and I think they said on the pista camera, not having the sports chrono, I think actually suits the car. This isn't a car where you go on a track and time yourself. This is a car where you get in it and enjoy the drive home. I mean, this is a different type of experience, different type of offer that Porsche were putting across the table to the very lucky owners that got them. It's a car which is all about emotion, it's all about driving, it's all about pleasure. It's got a leather-lined steering wheel. I love the contrasting silver grey stitch. I do love the black dials, and the really cool touch again straight ahead is you have the 911R logo at the top centre of the dial. Now the instrumentation is Gen 1 GT3, so this is the same as I had in my Spider, so it's not quite as new, but you know, you kind of forget about that. You forget about that. You still got your Bluetooth connection, you still got your iPod connection with a cable, so you know, let's just get on with it and drive the car. And that's what this car's all about. You've got the door pulls, which are different to the GT3. Again, that's a weight saving measure. The carbon fibre inlay throughout the cabin. And this prototype GT 6-speed transmission. And because of the single mass flywheel, it just gives that pulse as you're driving along. It's a really sort of interesting thing. It's spring loaded, it's just right there, hand off the steering wheel, and you're just right there. It just puts a big smile on your face. It's just what Porsche is all about for me, motoring and enjoying your car 100%. Now we also have, because it's a GT car, I mean this car would be at home I guess on the track, but I mean I wouldn't buy one really for the track. But you've got your fire extinguisher here, and then you've got your 911 badge, and this is number 398 of just 991 ever made. Centre console, we've got some buttons here. So the sport button, that's going to give you the rev matching. You can firm up the suspension, and that's the thing, again I think I said that on the pista camera, the suspension is different in this car to a GT3 and a GT3 RS. It's a little bit more forgiving, and you notice that on the road when you're driving it. It's set up specifically for this car, very, very unique. You've got your rear spoiler deployment permanently, or you can let it come up over a certain mile/hour limit. Sports exhaust, and with the Sharkworks it does sound good. And then you've got your front axle lift here, traction control, stability control buttons to the bottom left. But as I say, you forget about all that, you get in it, you get the setting you want, and you're off, and you are enjoying yourself. This is the perfect car to enjoy a fantastic trip with pals. A very, very special car. When you drive this car, you want to change gear, you want to drop it into second and power out of the short twisty corners. The rear axle steering, specially calibrated for this car, lends itself, it's just so nimble on the road. perhaps even feels more nimble than the RS. The way it takes the bends, and just the amount of steering input you need to put in, it's quite minimal really. It's just quick. Okay, it's not got the downforce, it's not got the fanfare, you know, the shoutiness of a GT3 or an RS, but it's got the classic silhouette. It's got that classic 911 look, which is going to make this car go down in history. Clearly is one of the old-town greats. Yes, there are 30% more of these cars than the 4-litre, 997 4-litre, but I think the prices on these are going to remain stratospheric. They've come down from 500 and more. These are trading around 400, I would say now. But you know, again, it's sad to see some cars coming to the market with 300 miles on the clock. The perfect driver's car that Porsche's delivered, but people get them and they don't drive them. You know, the weight of this car, 1370 kilograms, 500 horsepower, just, you know, it just surges you on. It just gives you that press in your shoulder blades and says, come on, just get it in the gear you need and you are gone. And it's just such a thrill. It's just a dream. It's just a dream to drive this car. And the experiences I'm having on Driving Venture, just pure quality. You just can't write the scripts. I mean, you can't write the check on something like this. And this is what we're going to be doing when the club gets going. It's going to be great times ahead. So there we have it, the incredible 911R from Porsche. This car has opened my eyes to how collectible these things are. A stunning car to drive, raw and ready, purposeful, full of excitement. Thanks very much for watching today's video. If you haven't done so already, please think about subscribing and getting the bell on. And as always, I'll see you next time.